welcome to 5 Minutes, your fast track to smarter insurance technology and stronger leadership. In the next 5 minutes, we're going to show you a better way to lead, scale, and innovate without the chaos. Let's get into it.
So, Sam, I guess I would be remiss, given the amount of change that occurred between our last conversation and this one. What do you think we're going to talk about next year? I mean, do you already have a view for at least where you're pushing kind of after this accomplishment, where you see Parametric going next?
Yeah, I think there's really two opportunities. The first one's going to be maybe an expanded conversation, Miguel. Maybe not just the two of us, but actually working with one of our carriers as well.
Yeah.
Having a conversation from their perspective.
Yeah.
What does it mean for their distribution partners? What are they seeing for the benefit of their residential and commercial policyholders? Whether they're middle market business on the commercial side or small businesses, how is that looking? What kind of lift are they seeing in their retentions? What new business opportunities are they receiving? Because they're doing something that other carriers may not be doing today.
Absolutely.
Now, certainly there's going to come a time, and we know this in the industry, where this will be something that you'll see almost ubiquitous in most insurance policies. Sure. This is an industry that takes a little bit of time to make a change. And that's a good thing, by the way.
Yeah.
The first two organizations I joined in this business, one was founded in 1866.
Okay.
The other was founded in 1877. And they're both still here today.
There you go.
So change does come slowly, but there is some measure of FOMO. So when things begin to get some traction, opportunities become de-risked, you do see other people entering the space. So the opportunity for our next conversation is absolutely going to see maybe an expanded conversation, not just from my perspective, but from the carriers we're working with and what they're seeing in their business and what it means for their brand, their organization, and the care they have for their customers going forward. Secondarily, you're going to find some additional opportunities that we're launching this year around severe convective storm, hail, tornado, and associated flood as well. We're very excited to be working with a number of carriers in the Midwest. We're scoping out those opportunities at this point in time, prioritizing them. Bit of a plug. Starting today, over the next 5 days, I'll be actually launching a series of polls within LinkedIn, talking about that very specific product and what's most important to the marketplace. What do you want to see first as an MVP? What really is giving you consternation with respect to that peril? It is a big problem in the U.S.
Yeah, for sure.
We historically have spoke of, these episodic events like big hurricanes that have come through.
Right.
But do you know that severe convective storms are actually larger than hurricane losses today? Absolutely. It's an aggregation issue, not a systemic, not an episodic issue.
That's right.
So we're solving for that through a parametric feature and these traditional insurance policies. And we know we're going to get amazing traction in the marketplace working with organizations such as the farm bureaus of the country. All throughout the Midwest. And the Midwest is getting bigger, unfortunately, because severe convective storms are actually traveling a bit eastward relative to the historical footprint.
We're seeing
that too is adding to some of the challenges with aggregation. So I'm really happy to be leading that conversation, solving for that with these features in traditional insurance policies. You'll see more of that real soon. And of course, our next conversation, I hope and trust, and maybe even promise, that we will have a third party with us to talk about their journey.
I'll even come to you. We'll make it portable. You said something, Sam, and I was actually thinking about a question I wanted to ask you, because as you're talking about where this journey has gone, I got to believe there's a certain amount of pride in terms of being on the forefront of moving the industry in this direction. You're among the leaders that are doing this. And then you mentioned that you're launching this LinkedIn poll that's basically surveying the market to get closer to what the market needs. I was going to ask this question about, what does a thought leader like yourself, like what do you do to kind of really think about what that next opportunity is and to be innovative? You answered it in some regard in terms of just this poll concept, but give me a little bit more about this. Because again, I'm sitting across from an innovator, and that's innovating not just in technology, but just in the industry, changing product.
Sure.
So tell me a little bit about what's in the mind of an innovator like that.
Thank you for that. You're very kind and thoughtful, of course. I love to take innovation and make it into infrastructure. So that's where outcomes live. Execution is where outcomes live. That last bit is very, very hard to do. And I think one of the ways you can succeed at that is by thinking about not necessarily what you can offer the marketplace, but really what the marketplace is looking for. So pent-up demand. Are there people trying to solve these challenges today? How are they doing with that? Are they doing well? Are they doing poorly? You want to make sure we can go where the action is. Now, I've been in this industry for about 30 years now, and we've developed some amazing products along the way. many of them have been supply side thinking, like this is the best thing. People are going to love this. It's going to go crazy. Everyone that's worked here is going to retire. Of course, none of those things, of course, happen. So a bit of hyperbole there, of course. But many of them missed the mark entirely.
Yeah.
And that's because we didn't have a good pulse on the opportunity and the demand in the marketplace. So I always start with how do you make things better by really understanding what the marketplace need is. And then you bring those people along with you to be part of the solution as opposed to developing a product in which they can choose to buy.
Right.
When you make people part of the conversation, you're making them part of the solution.
Yeah.
You're validating that you have a market and you're solving a real demand consideration. And I think that's what thought leaders do differently than folks who develop products for a living.
Thank you for joining this episode of 5 Minutes. If you've enjoyed our discussion, we'd love for you to share with anyone else you think might find it interesting. Also, please subscribe on whatever podcast platform you're listening on and hit that bell to stay on top of the game with our practical 5-minute episodes. We look forward to seeing you again next week.